Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975. Don't worry about the title. This is not going to be some angry sort of lashing out, hate-fueled rant or anything like that. Quite the opposite, in fact. I want this to be kind of a positive and fun video where we talk about, because I was asked a question, but I'll get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself, as much like I usually do. Yeah, about how we are coping in these absolutely unprecedented times. This is the biggest state intervention into our lives since World War II. And even then, World War II, I don't think they had the restrictions that we do right now, because obviously they could still go to clubs, go dancing, go to pubs and stuff like that, and we cannot. But, and also, I don't really want to talk about what you think about said lurgy or where said lurgy came from. It's not about that. It's not that sort of video. But why am I saying said lurgy? Don't ask me why. YouTube doesn't like you calling lurgy by its name or names, and it's not a monetization thing. Why I'm not doing that? Because I'm not monetizing this video. Apparently it's, I don't know, an algorithm thing. Look it up. I looked it up. I'm just following suit. But quickly, I would like to say these things are supposed to bring out the best in people, and they are. You know, there's a big chunk of society that's bringing the best out in people, and then you know, there is a very small, and it seems to be a global thing, a very small chunk of selfish individuals, the panic buying, you know, the breaking of curfew and stuff like that. And they, you know, it's, what the hell? What the hell? Although I do blame the media for a large chunk of that, because they reported on it every day and went out of their way to instill fear into people because it sells newspapers, and it's an easy way to fill up the news, particularly when people can't leave their house. And they've just stirred it up into a hornet's nest and made it far worse than it actually was. But the point being, it's a thing, and it's embarrassing. You know, what happened to the war spirit? Bristol was a blitz city every night. I mean, when they bombed us, people didn't behave like this, and bombs don't discriminate against underlying health problems or, you know what, age. But, so the curfew is anyone who doesn't have what is considered a required job, is it? I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. Essential job is to stay home. The two exceptions of this is one piece of exercise a day and to go shopping as infrequently as possible. And then there's the one which is anyone over the age of 70 has to stay home for 12 weeks. They cannot even go shopping, so they're completely reliant on other people, which is why it comes back to these people who are breaking curfew. This is why it's a bad thing. You may think you're invincible. You may think that this lurgy is not going to affect you. It might be mild, it might feel like a cold, and therefore, what's the big deal? And to be honest, in fact, many of us have probably already had this. I kind of think I may have, and not because of the cough I had, but at the start of the year, I was really ill. I didn't have a massive cough, but I had a cough, and had all the other symptoms, but you just think, probably because the news wasn't whipping up into a frenzy then, that it's just a bad cold. Maybe it was just a bad cold, I don't know. But the point being, even if you do get it and you become immune, or you're one of those lucky people who are immune from day one, so you think the curfew doesn't apply to me, but you're transmitting it, and you may be thinking, but these people are indoors for 12 weeks. Yes, but other people are going to shop for them, and you're transmitting this virus, you're moving it around, you're leaving it on surfaces which other people, who may be the people who deliver them food and pick it up, etc, 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 etc. And before you say, yes, I know, but shopping, people have to shop, won't that happen to some degree? Anyway, well, yes, but you're limiting it. So just stay inside. You know, seriously, just stay inside. As someone who has friends and family with underlying health problems, just stay inside. But anyway, I digress. So, what am I doing? I would like to say though, to be right, getting ahead of myself again. I am basically this lockdown is pretty much exactly the same. As my everyday routine. Because yeah, people were saying like, how you stopping going crazy? I'm not going crazy. This this lockdown is pretty. I'll explain how in a moment. Exactly the same, with one slight difference. One day as my everyday routine. It has not changed. I do know what it's like. It was only 1 week. I self isolated because I got a cough, a persistent cough. At the end of 2 weeks of being sick, which I just thought was a cold. I didn't feel particularly bad. I didn't take my temperature. I mean, how many of us actually take our temperature when we're sick? You may take your kids' temperature and stuff like that. I never take my temperature when I'm sick. Maybe I've had a temperature loads of times. I don't know. But yeah, so I self isolated, and it's funny. You got that mentality, haven't you? Which is, you're like, how bad can it be? And you've got all these games consoles, all these DVDs, modern consoles, old consoles, handheld. You've got entertainment, streaming services coming out of your ass. But all of a sudden, the fact that you're told that you can't go outside, I don't know, it does something to your psyche, does something to your brain, doesn't it? And therefore, a switch flips, and all of a sudden it's like, well, now I can't go outside. This isn't enough, and it drove me up the wall. And that was only 7 days. And the rest of you, if you're being responsible, I've done it now for 2 weeks, and we don't know when it's going to end. Fortunately, the government has got this system where, and I believe it's now been extended to self-employed. I am very sorry, and I know there will be a bunch of people who've lost their jobs, but they have this system in place that they'll pay 80% of your wages, and if your employer is nice, they'll top it up. But so that's a good thing. So there are a large chunk of people who can stay at home, can do this lockdown properly, and it's those I want to talk to, and hear what you're doing. Again, because I must imagine, like, the fact that I experienced it for a week, and I'm not experiencing it now, but we'll explain that because I'm not breaking the rules. That drove me nuts. And you're 2 weeks in, and you don't have an end in sight. And financially, some of you, would I say the majority of you, I don't know the figures, so don't jump down my throat. You're fine. All you've got to worry about is shopping, and exercise, I guess. But then if you've got a garden, as I have, you don't have to worry about exercise. So anyway, I'm waffling all over the top. What am I doing? What am I doing? Why is my life exactly the same? As many of you know, I don't have a particularly amazing job. I work in retail. It works for me. I work incredibly unsocial, sociable hours, nights, so I get a pretty decent premium wage. Now, because obviously the supply chain of food and stuff like that, I'm deemed an essential worker. I am not an essential worker. I have an important role, I guess you could say, but the essential workers, massive thanks go to the NHS. Period. All the retired doctors and NHS, nurses and stuff like that who've come out of retirement, goes to them. It goes to the police. It goes to the fire service. Goes to the army. It goes to these volunteers who are allowed to deliver food to all the people who are completely and utterly stuck in their houses. People over the age of 70. They're essential workers, and they should be thanked and applauded because they're putting themselves in a lot of danger and a lot of risk. I just put food out there. I put food out there for produce. But, again, premium wage for, hours. So the thing is about working nights. I go to work 4 nights a week, which is your average standard night shift, 4 on, 3 off. And yeah, so I get to leave the house. I get to drive downtown, which is an incredibly surreal experience at the moment because you will see the occasional car, but for the majority of the part of things, streets are empty. 28 days later, streets and roads are empty. I get to work, which at night, most like any other place right now that sells food, they are locked down 24 hours. It doesn't exist anymore, which suits me because, that protects us quite a lot more than the unfortunate people who work during the daytime. I think a massive amount of thanks should go to as well, because it's funny, but this whole situation has turned it around, and people have all, I don't care what anyone says, people look down their nose at retail. I've always said everyone should be forced to work 1 year of retail and make them a better person. It will make society a better person. But all of a sudden you are reliant on these people, yeah? So be nice, play nice, and treat them with respect. I don't have to worry about that because we are locked down at night. So essentially I get to go to work for my normal weekly work pattern, 4 nights on. When I get there, everything's locked down. I do my delivery. I don't even have to worry about exercise. I never worry about exercise anyway because my job's incredibly physical, heavy lifting. and I walk about 13 miles a night. One's got 15. I shit you not. One's got 15, but cannot break that record. So that's brilliant. That's why I like it. Even the most mundane job has its perks and its benefits. Not at risk as much as the day staff are, and certainly all those amazing key workers I mentioned that deserve all our thanks and respect. But you're only as safe as the good hygiene that other people practice. I wash my hands so much they look like Krugers right now. They're falling apart, and I'm fortunate that there's a sink very close to me. But these are what you have to do: wash your hands for 20 seconds. If anyone else in the immediate vicinity of work doesn't do that, then the link or the chain breaks, doesn't it? But also, the virus can survive on surfaces for so long that this place was flooded with the public during the daytime. How many of them are actually keeping up their standards and stuff? I know the majority of them will, but we've seen that a small chunk of society has let us down during this. So but I'm not shit my pants. Every time I think like, oh, because I am allowed. I provide the shopping for pretty much most of my family right now. My brothers, my parents, and a few friends who can't shop. So it's important that I don't get sick, and can't go into work even for a fortnight. That will be a massive inconvenience for a bunch of people. But ultimately, as I'm saying, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same as what I normally do. The funny thing is, it's kind of even better because we are now allowed to shop while we're closed. We're now allowed to shop and buy stuff for ourselves. So we're now allowed to shop when other people aren't around, because the company is saying, hey, we appreciate what you've done. Thank you very much. We'll let you do this, 3 days a week. So that's an absolutely fantastic, I'm very lucky. That's a perk, I would say. Absolutely fantastic perk. Makes it very, very easy for me to do, shopping for all the people that require it. So, I'm very, very happy about that. But, I used to be able to shop anyway. So essentially, I go to work, I work, do all my physical activity that I normally do, shop, come home, play video games, watch TV, watch a movie. I say watch TV, watch streaming services, watch a movie, make a video or two, go to bed about sort of 12 o'clock, get up 8 o'clock, shower, eat, go to work. Do that for my 4 days. So the fact that I'm allowed out, do you know what? I couldn't stay in. I really couldn't. Even if I was getting 80% of my wages, and obviously I could go out to shop, I couldn't do it. I need this routine. I am that person that, I need to not be doing something all the time, but like I said, the experience from just a week inside drove me batshit crazy. So yeah, this is my routine. It's absolutely fantastic. But the funny thing is, where this is it, and it's not changed at all. It's obviously I don't need to go out and do shopping so in the daytime. So that's absolutely fantastic. So I don't need to do shopping during the daytime. And on my 3 days off, these how they consist, because I'm terrible at that. All the people I've Skyped on a Wednesday when I get home, today in fact, will attest to this. I'm absolutely terrible at it. I always plan on going to bed and making the most of my days off, and I just end up, I don't know, just playing games, watching movies, and then creeping past when I really should go to bed. Obviously I eat and stuff like that. Then before I know it, it's incredibly stupid o'clock late, and when I do crash, pretty much all of Thursday is a complete write-off, apart from I get up, very late in the evening, have a shower, have some food, rinse, repeat, movies, make a video, play games, stuff like that, and then go to bed at a reasonable time, get up, and then Friday is my day when I go downtown, go shopping, go to charity shops, go to video game stores, go to cash converters, cash generators, and stuff like that. So essentially, now I can't do that. I absolutely cannot do that. I could go to a supermarket if I want to, but I don't want to because, again, it's a risk. And I'm very sorry that, other people out there have to go for that risk, because one of my mates, not my friend, an acquaintance, said that's not fair that you get to shop when they're closed. I'm like, well, what, am I not entitled to a perk? Am I not entitled to something if I put myself at risk? I'm not saying it's as bad a risk as the daytime or anything like that in hospitals or the police, but I'm saying, sorry, isn't this just a small perk? Why should I have to get up in the daytime, having worked a night shift, and come back downtown to shop? But anyway, I don't know why people. Why didn't you, get a job in retail and see how much fun it is, for the other 360, odd days a year or whatever. But yeah, so I'll get up on a Friday and I do that. That's it. That's the only day I go out. Seriously, that's the only day, with the exception of driving to work, I leave the house. And all those places are closed now. So, and I've got food and I've got games and stuff like that. So all I basically do now Friday. I mean, all I actually did on Friday was do those things and then go and get fast food and make a Fat Friday video. But yeah, so now basically for one day a week, my schedule has changed. Woo! So yeah, I'm absolutely fine during lockdown. I don't leave the house other than to go to work, so I don't run into people. If I go to a petrol station, I go to a self-service one. I put a glove on as well. I don't go shopping in the daytime. I do all my shopping at night. So for one day a week, my schedule is exactly the same as before all this kicked in. I mean, mind blowing, and yeah. So I honestly don't know how you people are doing it. Again, the point of this video, I've waffled and gone on and on and on. I would love to know what you're doing. I mean, are you reading books? Are you learning skills? Like Skillshare websites like that, learning a language, learning painting, trying something new, expanding your mind, exercising. What are you doing? How do you cope when you cannot leave your house? Because I'm sure that most responsible people will only shop once a week, and even then it will not be an experience they preferably would want to do, and maybe then they'll even be having home delivery. So yeah, what are you doing? I would honestly love to know what exactly it is you're doing to pass the time, or are you just going batshit, stir crazy, insane? Because this is just the complete, opposite of what you require to function, I should say, as an individual. Are you literally pacing up and down? I mean, how do you entertain kids at times like this? I mean, if you don't have a garden as well, I'm very fortunate. We've got, a big garden here, and so don't need to take the dog out. Don't need to exercise by going physically out. We are completely self-confined. So yeah, I'm absolutely. This is no biggie whatsoever. So yeah, exactly. What are you doing to pass the time? Just a bit of fun, Don't mean to go, too dark or anything like that. Because I touched upon a few things in this video. But yeah, so particularly, as always, I really would like to know what you're doing this time, and also just be grateful and thankful for all these brilliant people I've mentioned in this video that are on the front line for us, basically. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.